it comes from like struggling for position. And here I'm actually switching hands, which hand is on top of his head, which is his relentlessness, this kind of like marching knees and his like long arms that are kind of guarding himself while he closes distance. Nice body punch from him there. Look at him kind of like, now that he's really close, he can do the head movement. I see people using head movement from this distance, which makes absolutely no sense. Like, no one's gonna hit you from there. Using head movement when you're really, really close, the way he just did, is very disorienting. You don't know what strike's gonna come. I like his hup. It's one of my favorite sound effects that any legend does. Hup. Get some water. He never needs water. He's incredible. All right, so I'm trying to land more like middle kicks, which is a really good strategy with people who turn on you. Trying to catch people like as they're coming in is really good. He's difficult to land more than one thing on because his turn is quite fast. When these two interact, it's so cute. So, I don't know what's going on with those shin guards, if I didn't have them on or I was switching them or something. They're so funny. Karahat is older than Samson, so he has this like Brun P thing, which means like he can kind of be dominant to Samson because of his age, and Samson's kind of very cheeky. He likes to make a lot of verbal jokes, and they kind of like verbally spar a lot. but Samson, being the younger one, kind of always has to giggle and back off if it's like kind of getting heated. Look at their body language. Two totally different men. Karahat's femur style of his like meltiness, and then Samson's kind of like upright Dern fighter style. Oh, look at that cross block, and then so he's actually teasing Karahat by saying now Sylvie has become Muay Thai, which means like a kicker. I'm not a kicker. Samson's really happy now because now Karahat is like at the ropes, at the ring, paying attention. So Samson's showmanship and his jokes and his kind of performance is for someone who's like right on the ropes, and he's having a good time showing off to him. Look at him just stand there like perfectly still. He's like daring me to do anything. See how he just covers up? Like, he's within striking range. We're both short, so he's in striking range. And he just waits, like he just blocks, and then he's just right in there. Like, he doesn't let you breathe. There's this incredible thing that happens, and I've made technique vlogs on this about standing in someone's space. If you don't stay at pad work range, if you like stand slightly too close, people just stop breathing. Like, the kind of pressure of someone being in your space is kind of incredible. Even then, when I caught his kick, he doesn't like fall off of it at all. He's doing his little head movement. So see how he just keeps pressure on my guard? So basically, like, anything that I might be doing with my hands, he's just touching my guard, which kind of slows anything I can do and forces me to have to take angles. His face. So I'm actually covering quite a lot of distance in order to throw my long knees. He's really close when he throws them. It's so pretty. So I'm trying to be a little bit more Samson now. Like, I'm kind of pushing on him and trying to like submarine with my knees. He's so close. In Thai it's called cap. It means like tight. Like cap on like a kick means like really close. I got a Samrak elbow on him. And he was like performing that it landed, but then Karahat wasn't looking, so he was a little bit upset. See that, like, that slowed down teep that he just kind of like pushed into my guts. So see how he raises the knee first, and then the teep comes out. You kind of are faking when the actual teep is coming. It's like what Karahat does with his kicks. So I'm asking, do you use this when you're the one coming forward? And he's like, yeah, because you bring your leg up and it can actually be a block, or it can, you know, turn into a kick or whatever. But when you turn it into a teep, you're pushing the person back when they're trying to like post so that they can counter you as you're coming in. When you throw that teep, you're launching them back and they can't post, which means they can't really bring their weapons out the way they want to. He's just doing like flailing Kermit arms. Little bit of Diesel Noi hamstring kneeing. See how he just pushes his weight forward without actually committing all his weight. So he's not, he can move back at any time to sit down. So see how I'm throwing these really long knees after touching his guard. So I'm not throwing them from a like no contact position. I touch his guard first and then I can throw that knee as kind of like a sensor. Look at how he closes his shoulder as I grab the back of his head, and he's got his hips in, but his knees are bent. You can see the flex as his heels come off the ground a little bit. And then he's just annoying me with these like tense arms. He's basically just spoiling my clinch right now. He's not clinching me, he's just spoiling my clinch with his like body positions. I got him in a position where I could have thrown a left knee, and he just made his arm really heavy.
Find out what it is.
So he was in a very bad position. His arm was like too far over my neck, so he just made himself heavy. See how he's kind of tucking his elbows in to block my knees as well? He's able to follow me when I'm doing these turns. He's kind of like waltzing with me. He's following my legs as I'm going. He's very hard to turn. I'm trying to stay really close to his feet, because when you stay close to the feet, when you pull, you get like more torque. So you don't have to use as much strength and they go farther. But because he's so heavy and so like based out with his stance, he's very hard to... He liked my move right there. He liked my monkey knee. Look at him play around. It's like a little kid. So he says that this teep that he's throwing right now is like Samart, in that it comes up and then he's like turning his hip. People reference Samart a lot when they're throwing particular teeps. He kind of had this like signature, was known for these teeps. See how he will not let go of my leg? He's like, part of his playfulness is like, instead of countering me or always getting a point back, it's basically just like neutralizing someone and making them so that they can't move. Oh.
Baby, learn that.
We've gotten to a part I really like. This chop to the freaking calf is so painful. He's not doing it hard. Like, he's not doing it light, but he's not doing it that hard. And you can just feel this like cramp in your calf from the contact.
How does it get behind the ankle?
He's doing it the way that like Ramba would do, like a chopping kick to the thigh, but he's coming to the side and just slightly behind on the calf.
He's faking something else.
See how it's got this kind of like chop to it?
Yeah, he doesn't jump.
This is like starting to go.
He's not jumping, but look at his standing leg, how it kind of like skips over.
It comes down.
So he gets a lot of turn on it. See how his front foot, the toes totally change direction. But it's not a pivot on the ground. He does like come up a little bit first. And see how his head comes over to the other side. So his head is offline. when you would chop that leg is when someone is on their front foot when they're coming to punch you, right? So because they're coming to punch you and you're like nailing that leg, you want to make sure that you're offline because they're punching. So you want to like get yourself out of the way of the punch.
So. Hey, how he lands.
It like scoops.
It scoops a little bit. He comes behind the calf just enough that it almost scoops the leg.
But his weight is actually on
That
the
needs to
kicking
cut.
leg. Like it's not here that you're going like this. It's like actually on your kicking leg. Like
What I'm saying to Kevin is that the weight feels like it's actually on the kicking leg, not on the standing leg, because as he's coming onto your leg, he's like landing on it. He's not kicking it from like a balanced on his standing leg position. He's almost like descending on it. Now we're doing it simultaneous, and he's winning for sure. So he's trying to teach me timing on this. See how he's coming forward with that jab? I want to hit it. Oh. It's really low. He doesn't care. So he actually jabs first, and then see how he like hooked the calf a little bit and like pulled on it? You do that a little bit. You don't like stick it there and wait and pull. But in the trajectory of how you're kicking it out, you're kind of like scooping it to the side. It's like a soccer kick, how you'd like cross the field with it. So this is a little bit of a high-low and side-to-side, right? So it's like a left because of the jab, and then it's chopping down on the right. So you've got high-low and side-to-side. It's so amazing. When he's in close like that, he actually just brings his weight back instead of actually bringing his feet back in any way. He like doesn't lose any ground. He just leans so that he can create power by leaning back forward. It's a weight transfer rather than an actual movement of the feet. I'm going slightly too high on my kick. It should be a little bit lower. So I'm asking, when do you throw this kick? Do you throw it when the weight is on the front foot? He said you wait for them to punch, which means when the weight is on the front foot, when it's like your weight is solidly on the front, that's when you chop it. So you're not waiting for their weight to come off of the leg, like if they were bouncing it and you kicked it. You're just going to kind of like, it'd be like kicking a saloon door if you did it while they were bouncing that front foot, if their weight was on their back foot. So by doing it when their weight is on their front foot and you're chopping it, you're just kind of like...
He's breaking my hand with his elbow too, so if I...
It's like an axe.
Like that.
He's hitting it so hard too that even if I was throwing a pretty solid punch, it would take power out of the punch itself because it's so interrupting to that front leg. Like complete icons of each style. Samson is like so Muay Thai. Karahat is like pure femur. Look at how they deal with each other. So Samson stays in, which Karahat is okay with. But Karahat does the same thing Samson does, which is you wait for this right moment to do your like shove off or turn.
Long clinch.
Long guard, or long clinch from Karahat. So Samson is saying that the way to solve that is you have to tuck your chin really hard. Instead, if your chin floats up while someone is clinching you like that, you have no power. This is amazing because Samson actually can't quite get Karahat. Karahat doesn't want to use any power. And Samson never gets tired, and they're both a little bit tired at this point. So first, I'm talking to Samson about the Muay Thai style, which is that 1, 2, and 3, you're not really going to win, but you're wearing someone out. You're making them tired for rounds 4 and 5, 3 and 4, that kind of thing. So see how Samson is basically just trying to keep pressure on Karahat to wear him out. And Karahat's trying to not use any power, but look at how he just stiffens himself and puts himself into a posture that neutralizes what Samson's doing, but doesn't take any power. Samson's bigger at this point in life, so the trips are a little tricky. Samson's trying to bottle opener. He's trying to like pop Karahat at the shoulder, but Karahat's so like tense that he can't get him off. And there you see how Muay Cal versus Muay Femur works. หลังซ้อมเสร็จทุกอย่าง so after you've done everything in training, you come and you do these 500 knees and then 5 minutes of punches.
ให้มีแรงสำหรับเดินกระโดด
So this is to build power. This is like to give you endurance.
เราซ้อมทุกอย่างเราเหนื่อยแล้วนะเหนื่อยแล้ว
So he's saying when you're done with training, you're already tired. Like it's the most tired you will be because you're done doing everything else in training. So the point of doing 500 knees and 5 minutes of punching is to do it while fatigued.
แล้วก็เวลาทำ
Baby, try.
ใช่ใช่
แล้วก็
ใช่
So I'm noting like how flexed
ไม่ใช่ไม่ใช่
his knees
ปลาย
are.
เท้าซินวี่ปลายเท้ายืนเนี่ย
By Taoyun, he's saying your feet have to go.
see how
Like you don't
toes are never touching.
stand planted with your feet not moving, going like this. You have flexibility in your feet because a lot of your power is coming from your legs.
อย่าห่างมากขาเข้าอีกขาห่าง
So he's telling me to get more in my stance.
แค่เนี้ย
เหรอ
อย่างนี้มากเลยไม่มีอะไร
my, my, my stance was too wide. Don't do that.
นี่ลูกพี่ทำ
Don't sumo squat while you're doing your punches.
น้ำหนักไง
But your feet aren't together. They're like at a natural, nice distance. You can hear the horses. There are horses at this farm.
ประมาณนี้
The point, again, the point is to do this while fatigued.
เออ
So if you're like, I'm too tired, I can't do it, that's when you do it. You do it when you're tired.
ไม่ใช่ไม่ใช่
I'm like leaning into the bag a little bit. I'm kind of like balancing myself by leaning on it. Slightly wrong. I should be more balanced on my feet. But don't read. He's saying you don't have to do it super fast. So if you're like, I can't go super fast, that's fine. You're not.
ห้าร้อย
The point is not to do it fast. The point is to do it strong, consistent, and for 5 minutes.
เนี่ยไม่ใช่ต่อยแล้วก็ดึงคืนเลย
ใช่
น้ำหนักจะไม่ได้ดึงเข้า
So see how he slowed that down? But every punch is the same power.
หนักถูกแล้วถูกแล้ว
He likes this. He said that's kuklao. It means like that's correct. So the difference, like the change I made that made him be like that's correct, is I started throwing my shoulders
ไม่ได้อะไร
back, right? Some people think of throwing your shoulder forward. It's literally the same thing, but it depends on how you think about it. I think about it as when my left is coming, I'm throwing my right shoulder back, throwing my left shoulder back, rather than that I'm
ไม่ต้องให้มัน
rotating with
บางครั้ง
the front shoulder.
ยาง
mental thing.
อ่ะ
It's not like this. Not like a little pop on the bag like you want to be doing power.
พี่มาให้
มีคนที่พูดแบบนี้แต่ว่าพี่ทำสวย
So he's like, has anyone ever showed you this before? And I'm like, yes, people have told me to do this, and I do this at my gym. But he does it really beautifully. Like every single punch of his is like that one was beautiful. Every single one. I've never had someone care about what my punches look like. They just want them to be hard.
มันได้
not like,
ใช่ไหม
not like that.
Go do.
วันที่พี่สอนที่บนเวทีพี่ไม่เอาแบบใช่ไหม
ไม่
So I'm saying I remember when he was teaching me in the ring, he hated my little like pawing jab. That's how you get rid of your pawing jab, is to like really nail the bag.